Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Real Football Talk. I have Adil with me, and tonight we'll be discussing the big news coming from White Hart Lane that Conte has signed for Spurs on a year and a half deal with an option to extend. Firstly, before we go into Conte, Adil, let's look into the game first of Spurs versus United. What did you make of the game? I mean, dubbed as the El Sacico, you could say potentially whoever lost would have got Conte.
Well, I don't think before the game anyone thought Nuno was, that much under risk. Clearly, during as the game went on and the reaction to the Mora sub, I mean, everything just changed around that in terms of the atmosphere, and you couldn't help but feel sorry for Nuno because he just felt like a dead man standing. He's really contemplating on the bench, and he looked really, like a proper lonely guy, innit?
Do you know what it felt like? It felt like the Tottenham players never really gave him that chance, and that's what it felt like, or even the board and the whole Tottenham as a whole. They never really gave him because he was the third, fourth choice, whatever it was. That trust, that belief wasn't there.
And I think he did. I mean, the fact that when the season started, they had everyone's raving about Dele Alli. Dele Alli was giving it his all. He's handling the Kane situation quite well, and I felt like everyone was playing for him. Everyone was giving their all, and even though the performances weren't convincing, it's hard to win when you're not playing, when you're not dominating a game, and they're winning 1-0. They're winning 1-0 after 5 games. I think they were top or something like that.
Yeah, they were around the top. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think the players did give everything. It's just, it becomes really attritional when you hear your coach saying the same lines that he's saying from day one, same messages from day one, same outlook. He's very methodical in his approach, but it can drain players when you're going, when you're going at the pace he is. I mean, at Wolves, he had championship seasons to embed a lot of his ideas, his defensive shape and structures, and not only that, they supported him with better players. He had better players than any other team or squad in the championship. So that helped, because you're winning. That helped the process of that slow, same message. But when it's like this, where your performances are indifferent, the results are indifferent, to keep hearing the same lines, the same messages, working on similar things in training. Yeah,
I guess from a player's point of view, it's hard to take, isn't it?
Well, I think you can't always just keep saying, "Oh, players." Manager has to always also do his bit, and I just feel like he never got to grips with what Spurs as a club is, what those players are, and they did. I mean, at the beginning, they did give their all. It's not like they didn't. Once Harry Kane came back into it, it seems like he struggled, because I remember at the start of the season, I remember thinking, wow, was Wijnaldum, not Wijnaldum, I'm sorry,
Ali.
no, the Dutch player, sorry, I forgot his name.
Bergwijn.
Bergwijn. He started off the season so good. He's missing chances, but he was getting on the end of so many chances. I think he's hit the frame of the, quite a few games. He looked really good. Song looked really good. Mora looked really good. And then once Harry Kane came into it, it's like the thing that was making them look good, at least on the break, which was that extra pace. Suddenly, Bergwijn was the one at the team to make way for Kane, and they've never looked the same. Song looked like he was enjoying playing as the central striker, so I think once Harry Kane came back into the system, it just slowed down and kind of highlighted the defensive play and setup.
Understood. I mean, let's switch our attention to the main man. Coming in, Conte. What did you make of that signing?
Yeah, I mean, what a signing, really, really, probably Spurs have just absolutely smashed it with that. Levy and
Best available manager out there.
absolutely have smashed it, and it's reward in a way for them chasing hard and negotiating hard in the summer, and it didn't quite work out because that time Levy would have still tried having his control and his say, but I think the biggest step is the fact that he's got Paratici in, because that's the first sign of Levy accepting less control, less of a say in the football matters when you hire someone else to do the director of football side of things.
Yeah.
And obviously his relationship with Conte was paramount in getting
that's what I was gonna say in Juventus, yeah.
But I mean, right now, if you look at it, which guys can go into a club and actually just change the mentality, the philosophy, bring a winning, who can do that? It's Klopp can do it, Pep can do it. But Pep, the thing is, Pep has always done it at clubs that are already
winners.
Great squad, already got winners. So there'll always be a bit of a question mark of whether he can build that winning mentality from a team that hasn't got it. But Klopp's proven it at two clubs that he can make a group of players who've never won anything believe in and have that intensity. Conte has done it. So, Tuchel hasn't really, and Pep hasn't really, but you can tell Pep's such an inspiration that he can probably build that edge. So you're talking about a very small list where a manager can transform the whole mindset of everyone and everything. And I loved what he said. The fact straight away, his first message, and just imagine that, like what every Spurs fan and player must be thinking when your manager straight away says the words passion, determination, mentality. He never said anything about playing free-flowing football the Spurs way. He's not mincing it.
Yeah.
He's straight away telling you, stamping his authority and letting you know, this is what distinguished me as a player, as a manager. This is what you're going to get from me. He's, for me, I was like, that's awesome. That's straight away. He's letting them know what he's bringing, what's coming their way, and he's not afraid. And probably Conte is the only guy, or a manager of that stature is the only thing that would have fixed the problems that Spurs have, which is Levy is involved too much, he's too close to the players, and then watched all or nothing. So you won't see that at clubs where every single meal he's there with the players eating, he's having private conversations with them, he deals with the contracts. That stuff is just not good. And I think part of Nuno's fault was he wasn't his own man enough. I.e., when Levy say, look, you've got to play Ali because we want to keep his values, so we want to sell him in January, or you got to play this player and that player to retain their value. That he probably followed suit to his detriment. But someone like Conte, do you think Kane's gonna get with any half-hearted performance? Do you think he's gonna?
I mean, even overall, it's a great signing for the Premier League. Now we have what you got: Pep, Klopp, going out my head, Tuchel, Conte.
Yeah, all these great one thing
in one league.
If you look at it, you gotta also add, when you look at serial winners or trophies, you gotta add Benitez in there, even though he's not with. Everton are gonna spend in January and summer. Yeah, I really do think that. So You got five managers who have won league titles
Champions
and
League.
Champions Leagues.
Yeah.
They're serious.
You can see Conte's demands already, isn't it? Like he wants these players, that players. He already knows what he wants. Like
he does that at every club before he signs. He makes sure he gets a good fat salary. He has a good payout if they sack him, and he has all his signings fixed. Who he wants, how much money they're willing to spend, and that's why when he leaves, clubs kind of just let him go when he's upset or because he's made it clear what the agreements are in terms of investment. He makes sure that he has that money and that support, and if they don't, then he kicks up a fuss and ends up leaving.
But it's great for the Premier League. I mean, he's so passionate. I loved it when he was at Chelsea. You can see the energy he brings.
Yeah, but I think the biggest thing is, it surprised me when Mourinho. Everyone was like, okay, Mourinho wasn't a good fit. But the thing with Mourinho was he was so desperate to make it work at Spurs that you could tell he was putting up with a lot of the way Levy ran the club.
Yeah.
But now with Conte, you can tell Conte won't even bother because he's at the prime. He's not a manager trying to stay in the top table like Mourinho was. He's already sought after. He's already big. His intermediaries were talking with United intermediaries, and they would have seen the difference in approach, that how much Tottenham really, really want him, and how much they wanted him in the summer, and how much now they're willing to bend over backwards to get him. Plus the fact that Paratici is there, someone he's already had success, already has a good relationship, it makes a huge difference. So I just think this is a big sign that the issues that has always caused Spurs problems isn't going to be there with this manager, because he ain't going to put up with it. He ain't going to put up with interference from Levy. And do you think he's going to play Ndombele strolling around the way he does? You can tell Ndombele was playing because they want to retain his value.
I mean, we'll see how it goes. I mean, let's quickly turn our focus, because obviously we kind of need to talk about the other clubs as well. What did you make of? I mean, United, comfortable win, would you say?
Yeah, I think again, a lot of United fans going to fall for it. I just think this is what Ole does every time he's under pressure. He starts following common sense, and he starts going out, putting all this message, every guy's droppable. He says the same old stuff. He said it last season at after Christmas time when they went on a bit of a wobbly. He said the same thing, and then come towards the end of the season, it's the same old Ole. Doesn't rotate his squad, only trusts his first 11, makes everything about Pogba always. Do you get it? And scared to make tough decisions. So he's making tough decisions now because his struggling and the pressure's on. But 1 month down the line, if he's still there, what will he be doing? He will be doing the exact same thing that he does every season, which is he'll go back. You can't change the nature of a manager. And a manager just does things when they're under pressure. They rarely ever change. The best managers change season on season. They reflect, they change. I remember Klopp used to be so stubborn about his gegenpressing and how heavy metal football and everything. Everyone knew the reason why they always struggle at the business end of the season was because their players were fatigued, because he never used to rotate. What happened? He made the tough decision. He got rid of his Buvac, the brains, the number 2 that he's had always with him, because he was the guy who always advised sticking to it and not evolving and not improving. And then when that shift happened with Pep Lingers coming in, Buvac never liked it, and they got rid of it. But he moved on from him. But you can see the evolution of the manager. He's actually changed. You see Pep changing. From at Bayern, he had to change his philosophy slightly. In City again, first season they win nothing, changed. Oli doesn't change because ultimately, he sticks to, and that's the difference. The best managers will follow common sense, will spot the errors they make, and they'll make that improvement year on year. With Oli, the fact that he always has to be told or be under pressure before he changes anything tells you. And I think Guy Never was right. I mean, there's not much he says right anymore. But that one point he made, that why did it take so many bad performances and a 5-0 drubbing from Liverpool for him to see common sense? I mean, any manager can see that all season Wan-Bissaka has been a joke. Maguire's been come back too early. They did the same thing last season with Maguire, so you can tell nothing's changed there. Shaw started this season like he did previous seasons, very relaxed. You had Greenwood and whoever the other winger was playing, effectively playing a 4-2-4. No one's coming back in midfield to help the midfield. Fred is terrible. It's the same things that everyone has seen. All of a sudden, he's had a eureka moment. No, he hasn't. So he's just going to go back to the same things. And so I don't buy into.
I thought he was trying to show he can do Conte's job as well. He's playing 5 at the back.
Well, that's the thing. I only believe it worked as well as it did because of how poor Spurs were. I mean, that was such an insipid display. I mean, you're playing against a fullback system, and never did Reguilon and Emerson Royal push up the pitch and make their system work. They were so defensive and negative that it played into United's hand. Now, they've got Atalanta, a team that will attack. I'd love to see him do this formation against Atlanta. They will get spanked.
I think he's going to go back to his normal tested.
City, you try and play these type of imbalanced formations against teams that will attack you, that have quality players that ain't going to fear you, you're going to get picked apart, just like Liverpool did. So I don't buy it. I just think Tottenham were the perfect funnel, and maybe that was part of Levy's and Paratici's plan.
You're giving this guy too much credit now. All right, let's.
I know. I feel bad for United fans right now. We're stuck with Oli, and the only manager that
we've given Oli enough time. Okay, we need to move on from him.
Ain't too much. We need to definitely move on from Oli.
Man City shock result 2-0.
Standing
off had a lot to do with it as well, but still.
I mean, Crystal Palace are becoming like everyone's favorite second team in it because of the way they play. I mean, they don't respect it. They're like Brentford. There's a lot of Brentford in what you see of Crystal Palace. They're in everyone's face. They play attacking football. They keep the ball brave. And Vieira's really, really proven himself. Because he ended up having a real, a bit like Nuno Espirito. He ended up having a real negative reputation when he was at was it Nice? Yeah. Nice last year. He ended up having such a negative reputation for defensive. In his first season, it was like this, quite attacking, open, challenging everyone. And then he tends to go to this next. So hopefully we'll see that he doesn't go to that way next season and focus on such defensive football. But, you have to say the signings, they've made excellent signings. System.
Definitely.
Really brought the age down. And that's what works well with Vieira is he's really comfortable at working with young players. He's done it at New York Red Bulls and at Nice, so it's clearly what he prefers.
They've really trusted him, and he's kind of like changed that whole dynamics of that whole Crystal Palace team. If you look at it,
and the club, it feels like he's changed the mindset of the club a bit, like what you're going to expect from Conte at Tottenham. It's a manager that has the presence to change and direct the way the club thinks about everything. And he's definitely got that.
Great win 2-0. What did you make of
Conor Gallagher? Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
what a player!
What did you make of that red card? I mean, there was a similar incident in another game, but that wasn't given as a red card.
Yeah, I think the one, Evans one on Aubameyang was more clear cut one, but they're both red cards for me.
Yeah,
I think both were red cards.
it's bizarre. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem, isn't it? When you're trying to go too tight and dominate, and
Well, Zaha just spinned him, isn't it?
yeah. I mean, the problem was there was no cover, so
Yeah.
And Laporte's done that before, where he gets too tight and too. I mean, it looks harsh because it's kind of like a soft tackle that ends up, the punishment seems really harsh, but it's more because of he's the last man rather than.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, the refereeing decision was the correct decision. Yeah, 100%. 100%. But I mean, what do you think it was just one of those poor performances from City rather than anything more sinister?
No, I don't think so. I thought City played quite well. It's just they came up with a team, came up against a team that had more motivation at the time. Really had quite a few positive results and played without any pressure. And sometimes that can surprise a team like City because they're so used to winning the match before they've even entered the pitch. In the tunnel, you can just tell the opposition, the manager, everyone is thinking, oh gosh, what a hard day this is going to be. From the off, there's negativity in their mind. But with this Crystal Palace team, you can see they got a team spirit and a camaraderie that is like, yeah, let's have it. Let's get stuck in.
Good thing, as they got minutes in the under-23, so he's coming back as well for them.
Yeah,
looks a real deal. I mean, he hasn't played much.
I mean, Olise is starting to, get in the team and look good as well. They've got players with a lot of potential, but it's still Conor Gallagher's the guy that makes them tick. So he's on loan. Let's see if Chelsea end up selling him then and get him then.
The season.
But he's an exciting player. I like busy players like that.
The whole season since he started. I mean, we were talking about him. I think in another podcast we were saying how good he has been. I mean, he's been performing consistently for Crystal Palace.
But he impressed last season in West Brom.
No, but
he played a bit more defensive role.
Yeah.
But here, what I like about it is
that next step.
He's been given a lot more freedom to attack. Yeah. He's played like a 10 role, but where he comes into midfield when he needs to. Yeah. But he's more there to press high up the pitch, to be the guy, the link, and he's showing a different side to his game. He's showing a lot of quality in his attacking play as well.
Yeah, he's definitely gone to the next level since last year. I would definitely say that.
Yeah.
Let's switch our views to Liverpool versus Brighton. Winning 2-0, seemed comfortable, and then boom, 2-all.
Yeah, that one is more
complacency.
Not complacency. They actually got. I'll be honest. They actually got outplayed in the second half. This is I've seen this trend with Liverpool this season. It's kind of what they did last season. They kind of, especially at home, they do this a lot where they get carried away. They lack that. They lack that mature. Dare say it, Thiago type figure that kind of controls the tempo. What happens is when they score, because they're playing good football and the goals are, really good goals.
Flowing,
the crowd there's so much atmosphere there. It's electric, and the players just get carried away with just bombing forward, going for the kill, and it does a lot of the teams that aren't organized or don't have that strength. But Brighton have an identity. They give all the big teams a problem. Even when they lose, they always have a go. They've always given someone. It's very rare. We'd say, I think there was only one game against Chelsea last season where I thought, oh my gosh, they didn't even lay a glove on Chelsea. But against everyone, they always go for it. They'll always give any team thing. They'll make adjustments. But at least one half you're gonna get Brighton turning up.
That's true. No, that's valid. even this season they've been solid. I mean, you have to give credit to Graham Potter. Last season maybe he didn't start off that great, but this season I mean, they're right up there, aren't they? They've been performing
Yeah,
really
but
well.
they're one of those teams because of the brand of football they play.
Always, yeah.
Once the players gain in more belief and more, confidence, they will be up there because they play winning brand of football. They play a system that is unique, is a bit like Chelsea, really hard to figure out. They can make slight adjustments here and there. And, so there's a lot of factors that go into them. But the main thing is they're technically good team. We said last year their problem was they have to be really on the front foot and overload and have a lot of players for them to dominate and create chances. And, they lack pace. But what they've done is they've done really smart signing like that.
Mopo, yeah.
What a player he looks like. Bissouma was a quality signing. Now you can see them to bossing and hanging it with any of the big teams once they get fully fit and sharp. They can do everything.
Yeah.
And they got the energy. I mean, the Moapu guy just reminds me of Decore. Like he's the next Decore.
Problem's going to be when they go to African Cup of Nations, isn't it? They're going to miss him for the whole January.
Yeah, but Brian's that type of
Brian's not going to be really up there, but I mean, yeah.
And they may get some signings or loan players, but the main thing is it wasn't like the City game where they came out with a really motivated team that got their goals, played brave, kind of wet a man up, and this one was actually at the end on the chances created. Brighton second half had some gilded chances to even win it.
Always.
It was actually a 50-50 match, that one. It wasn't like against City and Crystal Palace. City was still dominating the game.
Yeah.
Still the better team. But, Crystal Palace continued to be brave. Here, it was actually both teams just going at it, and whoever was attacking looked like they're going to score. And it's complete end-to-end at the end, of which, Brighton had the better attacking.
Surprised to hear that, to be honest, not gonna lie, because obviously considering what Liverpool have.
Well, those are the games where you realize what Fabinho brings to the team, or Thiago brings to the team, because they bring that. Because the thing is, when you play in midfield with Jones, Oxlade-Chamberlain came on, and then Henderson. I mean, Oxlade-Chamberlain was positioned terrible in that second half. He's leaving gaps that Trossard was just picking up holes and driving at him. But because they played that possession-based game, and because Liverpool won a press, and Mepu and Bissouma and Lallana, they're all comfortable with players pressing them. What happened was the gaps were there for Trossard to pick up, and Moda, and all of them were just picking up the gaps and driving at the back line. So, and the interchange and the runs and that Brighton were actually more intelligent than the ones Liverpool players were making. So hence they ended up creating the more clear-cut chances or more threatening situations. So Brighton's just a good team. They're going to give it to everyone.
Right, let's move on to next team. Well, my team, Arsenal, 2-0 away win. Makes me happy saying it. You know why? It's been a long time.
Were you happy with the performance?
First half, yes. But obviously, I was quite pleased with the second half as well. The way they kind of rode that storm and kind of got out of it with some help of Ramsdale.
They rode it, or just one man?
You know what? That's why I said with the help. I said with the help of Ramsdale. That's why I said. Didn't I say that? We've been criticizing him a lot, last year when they were linked with him. But
you have to give credit. You have to give credit where it's due.
He's been performing, and he's proving me and I'm sure a lot of other people wrong.
We already know that he's a big character. He's transformed the dressing room as soon as he's gone to Arsenal. But he's actually proven, like, definitely me wrong anyway, that he's very good. He's actually a very good keeper.
Still needs to improve. He still moves when he needs to.
But he's got that character. Yeah. He's got that character where you believe he's going to keep pushing himself to improve.
Yeah.
He just loves the game. His enthusiasm is infectious. And, there was stuff he did that was Schmeichel-esque. The way he body first, head first, if someone running in and goal, they're going to be scared of his head launching into their feet.
Like,
I don't know.
Simple things like, like when someone takes a shot, yeah, and when you see a goalkeeper so passionate telling your midfielder, why have you not gone out to block that shot? It just, it just gives that extra pump to that team, that the players are going to know, if I'm not doing my job, this guy's just going to be on my back.
Yeah, because obviously, Arsenal have had a big transition. So having that leadership makes a huge difference, especially when you got a lot of guys bedding themselves in to become regulars for the first time, even though they're talented. I'll be honest, I'm still not sure when it comes. If like the run that Arsenal are on reminds you of the run that Tottenham had with Nuno at the beginning, where they're getting the results, but you can't really say they were the better team. Like, I didn't think that, I thought Leicester were the better team, created the better chances, second half especially. But if you take Arsenal's first half and you take Leicester's domination of the second half, Leicester were by far the better team overall. In my opinion. They created a lot of chances that second half. Ramsdale was really inspired. But, for a Tottenham team that's set up to defend, they still got cut open quite a few times. So I just think, and I think other games it's been similar, where you can't really say Arsenal are the dominant team now. We watched them live recently. It reminds me, a lot of it reminds me of, I don't want to burst the bubble because I'm happy, they're performing but it does, the football reminds me of Mourinho football. I'm just going to put it out there. The current football Arsenal are playing totally reminds me of Mourinho football.
No, but
it's so defensive. Everyone gets behind the ball, and the goals are coming from mistakes of the opposition, or it's not free flowing football that is great and that they create in, and it's proper, attritional. I don't know. That it does remind me of Mourinho football. I'm just saying it there first, ready to get shot at. And I'm not saying it as an Arsenal hater. It's just observation. That's
do you know what the thing is? Like, I think it's still going to be similar to last season, in the sense that when we got this confidence, we will go on that kind of like little run, and then when it gets a bit harder, then we'll lose point, win one, next one. It's going to be inconsistent because of the age. There's going to be lots of inconsistency throughout. I think that's what it's going to be. That's how this season is going to plan out.
Yeah, I mean, either way, they're going to keep improving, because you can tell everyone is buying into the Arteta way. I mean,
I don't like the football personally. I'm
talking about the football reminds me of Mourinho football. We watched it live. I mean, everybody gets behind the ball. You can see the focus is on the work they do off the ball, defensive. It's very counter-attack football. It's what everyone keeps saying, Oli needs to do, or that's the only way Oli can win. Let's be honest, Arsenal are doing that. They're playing very much a counter-attacking style, no defensive block. Everyone comes behind to the halfway line, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, it's just an observation that it's a very defensive football.
They have pressed a lot of teams like Aston Villa, even Leicester.
No, but they do it in Spurs.
They have pressed. That's what I mean.
But that's exactly how Mourinho teams are.
Do you think that's maybe because they haven't got the fitness? The team hasn't got the fitness to do it for that long.
No, I just think
you are carrying Aubameyang and whoever else.
No, I just think their base and their template. It's a game plan, which is the way we score is by making it difficult for the opposition to play out, and from that we create opportunities, we create momentum, we create pressure. That's what, and it's very similar to the way Mourinho's football was very game plan, very counter-attack, very low defensive block style. He's not the only one. Benitez does it. Loads of managers do it.
I'll tell you what I miss. I'll tell you what I miss is in the final third, that intricate passing that Arsenal had, the flowing moves. where they're doing 1-2 flicks and going through. I don't see that much with Arsenal now. It's more like a side to side, going across, crossing it in, or on the counter. We're doing some sort of brilliant.
But what is you see it after they score for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
The players get carried away, and you see it, and then you'll see Arteta reining it in.
But that's what I want to see. I want to see that Arsenal running at people. I want to see Bukayo Saka take man's on. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, but either way, at the end of the day, it's working. Other managers have used that. That it's a successful model. It's just probably people. If people don't watch Arsenal, they're not going to realize it is quite a bit of defensive football.
I'm not gonna lie.
If we pleasing on the eye, but we gain the results.
Yeah, that's it.
And when you're building, that's what you need. You need validation, and maybe the next stage is getting better players and playing a bit more expensive style. Again, sometimes there's not enough time given to teams, and we over analyze and over criticize. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Like I said, many other managers have been successful in that way, but it is. I just this myth that Arteta plays attacking football, that's not true, definitely. But Arsenal are doing well, and you definitely can tell they got an identity, and they know what they're doing and how they're doing it.
Yeah, just hope we don't get carried away. That's the main thing. Last but not least, West Ham 4-1 against Villa.
Yeah, West Ham are just like
machine.
A bit like what it feels like. It's a bit like when Leicester won the league type thing. Every week you think they're in Europe, they're meant to struggle. They got to start losing, and they just keep flying with passing every test with flying colors. I mean, and they're doing it in a dominant way, and you can see an evolution in their style, i.e. they are taking the game to teams more. Last year, they were like that Arteta style, low block, on the counter. This year, they actually are playing a lot more football with the ball, even though their possession stats don't reflect it. What it is, if you watch their games,
their possession's still good, 58%.
Yeah, but what happens is once they take the lead, they're a bit smart. They're a very smart team. They adapt their style. They'll play direct if they have to. They'll play short if they have to. They can do everything. And the thing is, I've seen them play possession football, and they've done it really well. So they can dominate the ball now. And you can see the improvement. Even Souček on the ball has really improved. Before, when you think when the ball comes into him and someone presses him, he might get. But now he's become a lot more comfortable. So he's improving the players. I mean, look at Declan Rice. He's got more of an attacking verve this season. You can tell he's been given a target, a number. Like, look, get 8 goals.
Well, I mean, he's been given the penalty duties as well.
Yeah, but But I watched a couple of the European games, and he's playing like an attacker. He's dribbling through the whole team like a winger. Do you get it? So, yeah, the team's evolving.
One person, Ben Johnson. I mean, youngster coming through the ranks. He's doing really.
I think he's 24. I don't think he's that young, is he? But he's academy player.
Academy player. That's why I mean he's coming up. I think he's.
But they played him a lot left back last season.
Last year, yeah.
So I wasn't surprised when he scored the goal with his left foot, because he had plenty of practice on the left-hand side. But that's just that's
he's 21. He's 21. Yeah,
21. Yeah. So he trusts his players. It's the next man in culture, and you can just tell.
Well, he's keeping Kufal on the bench, isn't he? He's been performing the last 3-4 games since Kufal.
I think Kufal had an injury though.
No. But since Kufal's been back for the last 2 games, but Johnson's kept it. So,
yeah, and that's how it should be, isn't it? That's how you keep the team, and then that's why a certain manager we were talking about earlier on will go back to.
Going back to.
We'll go back to.
Why does everything link back to? Why does everything link back to Ole? Eh?
There ain't many bad examples of management. Nah, let's be honest. I mean, I think West Ham doing a great job.
Yeah.
And like we said last year, the Premiership will end up being a top 10, top 12. You know, where it's not going to be the big four; it's going to be the big 12 because
all I'm saying, I'm loving it.
you've got amazing managers.
I'm loving it. It's brilliant. Like every game, you know, you want to watch it. There's every week there's 3-4 games that you know you definitely want to watch.
Yeah, and you got to feel sorry for the clubs like because it's got like
the clubs with a small budget that come up, like someone like Norwich and stuff that not going to spend. You know they're going to struggle because the quality.
But the thing is, then you see Brentford and the way they do it, but they're not exactly spent.
No, but they've been building for years because I mean they could have potentially come up even last year. They were built for, but obviously they lost in the playoffs. So that infrastructure.
I just think it's going to put a lot more pressure, and there's going to be a lot more managers getting sacked and things like that. Because you look at like Dean Smith under pressure at Aston Villa.
Don't worry, Luton's coming up.
Let's see. I'm not sure. But
not this year, next year maybe.
But Premiership. I mean, this is the thing. A lot of the clubs that make it out of the Championship to the Prem, a lot of their fans regret the season they spend in the Prem.
Yeah,
it's like they're gone. So they've enjoyed the season before where they got promoted to such a point that they hate the feeling of being whipped every week.
Yeah.
So, yeah, be careful what you wish for.
At least we'll get good money out of it, and then we can build even better team. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's more of it. I don't mind Luton going up and even not getting much points and coming back down, but at least as long as we get 150 odd million, it's fine. You can build that team even more.
Yeah,
helps massively.
Yeah. So, I think we're definitely done when we start talking about Luton Town on the Premiership roundup.
It's a bit of a weird one, but I had to bring it up. I don't know why.
So you can dream. You can dream.
One can dream about my hometown club getting there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Football manager. That's what I'm going to do.
Especially when you're the club that you're supporting.
We're doing okay. We'll get there. Wait. Let me say the favorite line. Trust the process.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, I suppose at least you have a process.
Thank you for coming on, Adiva, and sharing your insights. For those of you watching, thank you for being with us, and thank you for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, and yeah, see you soon.